Shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yeah. Give me the mic so I can take it away. This video is about the enemy. Now, I was doing a little bit of research because a song popped in my head by Uncle Murda, and I don't remember the name of the song, but he said, if you don't have enemies, gonna make you some. And I was thinking to myself, why is that important? I googled that answer, and I'm gonna use a little bit of what I found during my research. Now, it was a 10-page article. If you Google, why is it important, or why leaders have enemies, it was an article that I read, and it was about politics and societies, and why it's important for those two politicians and societies to have enemies. I'm gonna use a little bit of that research in this. Might consider putting the link down so you can look at it. We can discuss it. You can give me your feedback, and we can go in there. Maybe I'll make a second part. Who knows? Alright, so I'm gonna break it down like this. I'm gonna give you why it's important to me, 4 things that I thought of for you to have enemies. I'm gonna give you a couple enemies that you can consider making your enemies, or at least acknowledging them as your enemies. How to spot an enemy, and some obvious ways that enemies could fuck with your empire. Now, first, enemies are important because they are the perfect example in my world of what not to do, what to do and what not to do, what to tweak and what to strengthen. Now, when I was younger, I was 17, I was having a discussion with my mom on what I should be doing with my life, the career that I wanted to choose for myself. And I know you guys have heard me say this before, but what she told me was, when you try to figure out what you want to do with your life, and you should probably consider what you don't want to do. What do you definitely never want to do with your life? And that's how I look at things, people, places, and events, and mind states, and emotional states that I consider my enemy. I might not know what I want to do and who I am completely, but I know what I do not want to do and who I do not want to become. And the enemy always shows me what I don't want to be. Next, the enemy gives you perfect feedback. The enemy gives you perfect feedback in the way, statistics, you keeping track of your own shit. You making sure you stay sharp. You making sure, hey, this person has been, or this event has not been happening. Whatever the enemy is to you or for you. This has been like this. Or I did something, you know what? My enemy is the hating ass nigga down the block. And every time I do something, every time I laugh, they cry. Every time I cry, they laugh. So I see that there's fucking tears dripping. There's a whole river of salty ass fucking tears that I can smell all the way from down the street. I know I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? That's my feedback. And for anybody who thinks I'm talking about them, I'm just a metaphorical person. I'm just an artist. This is how I talk. This is how I communicate with the world. If you think I'm talking about you, I'm not. I'm off that. You shouldn't be watching my videos anyway. You should definitely be finding something better to do. I'm not talking about you. Nobody's thinking about you. But, I got the super senses. I got them spider senses cracking. And this bitch all fired up. But next, the enemy, like I just said, this kind of goes into that. The enemy can easily show you your strengths and your weaknesses. Of course, I mean, that's not what a war is for. You know, you're supposed to have all your ducks in a row when you engage in certain activities. But as far as you watching something or someone from afar, you knowing like, hey, next time that can't happen. I need to tweak this. I need to turn this up, turn this down, blah blah blah. You know. And I mean, lastly, this is obviously not the last end all be all for fucking things that enemies are good for, but free promotion. If you do what I do, then your enemy, whether that be a person, we'll just say it's not a person, because it's fucking not, because nobody's on my level. But let's say let's say my enemy is alcoholism or depression. The fact that, well, alcoholism, the fact that, okay, all of AaroniMoses' videos when he was DNA for sure and Laura Homeboy, he was always drinking on some fucking cheap ass beer, drunk, high, had a cigarette in his mouth, blah blah blah. You don't see that shit anymore. So in that way, shit, alcoholism, alcohol, Miller High Life, Bacardi, rum, whatever the fuck it was, that enemy is promoting me. That enemy has shown that, look, this motherfucker was like blackout drunk in a lot of his videos, and he's obviously growing, he's obviously learning something, he's obviously in a better place. That's just making me look like a better person. It's true. I mean, this is the lifestyle that I chose. I choose to not be fucked up all the time. But that looks fucking good. That looks awesome. It feels good. It looks awesome. You know, that is free promotion. I mean, next, free energy. If you don't believe, if you don't have that, if you're not in tune with that, if spirituality is not you, then, I mean, this doesn't really apply to you. But if you watch my video called Collect That Free Love, if you have enemies, if you have living, breathing, humanoid enemies, then people are going to be talking about you if you're doing your job. People are going to be talking about you, gossiping, and you know, spreading the word about your fucking greatness all the time. So, I mean, whether it's good or whether it's bad, that's still free energy. That energy still has your name on it, and you can take it, turn it into what you want to turn it into, and use it. You know, rethink it. Stay up on that 50 cent shit. And depending on what you do, I mean, an enemy is a free sparring partner. For all my, well, now I'm not gonna say Dragon Ball. For anybody who likes sports or anything like that, or if they kickbox or go to the gym or anything like that, or shit, if you are in the street and every time that you see this motherfucker, you fight him. That's not necessarily a person that you want to kill or anything like that. But hey, you fought this kid you already fought this kid 10 times in the past year. So when you really need to fight for your life, shit, you've been fighting him. You've been boxing with this kid for years and years. He's helping you. He's helping you, and when you really need to fucking beat somebody up, shit, you fought this kid 30-something times already in your whole life. Ever since you were a teenager, now you're close to 30. Hopefully not. You shouldn't be fighting motherfuckers when you're 30. But, anyway, my dog's a crazy person. Anyway, what else is an enemy good for? No, that's not the direction we're going into. Next, is what kind of enemies do you have? What kind of enemies do you have? I'm gonna break it down into 5 types of enemies that you can have, and then I'm gonna give you my enemy when it comes to to that, to that category. There's actually 6, but I'll speak on that when I get to it. First is a mental enemy. Mental enemy is something is exactly what it sounds like. Mental enemy would be, for me, negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is the easiest enemy to defeat, because every time that I say one bad thing about myself or talk negatively to myself, all I have to do is say 3 positive things by the end of the day or right after that, and I'm usually it balances it out and it overpowers that negative self-talk. So a mental enemy for you might be if you somebody's words. If you have an eating disorder and every time you hear the word fat, you feel subconscious, or it fucks with you. You know what I mean? That might be your mental enemy. Excuse me. Next, emotional. Your emotional enemy. My emotional enemy is depression. I have to fight feeling sad, thinking about potential lifestyle choices and changes and paths. That's really what makes me depressed, not my past. I don't really give a fuck. The shit happened to happen, whatever it may be. But just thinking of what could have been, or just getting overwhelmed, or just feeling discouraged. You know, my emotional enemy is depression. My lifestyle enemy, which is next, my lifestyle enemy is stagnation. I honestly, I do care where I end up in life, but as long as I keep growing, I don't care if I live in the country, I don't care if I live in a metropolis, I don't care if I live in the middle of a fucking jungle. As long as I am not the same as I am the next month, I'm straight. I'm okay with that. Next, physically, my body, not physically, whatever. Being out of shape is my enemy, and I definitely need to work on that. Being drunk, physically, is my enemy, of course. Being broke. Being broke is my enemy, but I mean, yeah, that is an enemy. That's an enemy that I need to conquer. I need to kill that motherfucker and bury him in the ground with his other homies. And being sick, obviously, is an enemy. I don't get sick like that. I'm a fairly healthy guy, besides all the smoking cigarette shit. Next, I mean, socially, who is your enemy? Is it are you like Lupe Fiasco? Lupe Fiasco said that he is ignorance's enemy. You know, I do a lot of ignorant shit. Ignorance is bliss. Some things I don't want to know about. Some things I don't give a fuck about. Certain things I just don't want to know about. You know, like the Palestine Israel. That made me a little sad. You know, I kind of sometimes wish I didn't know about stuff like that. But you know what? I'm more educated now. I'm a better person. But my empire's enemy, honestly, are those who don't want to see me happy. Those who don't benefit from me being alive. And those who don't support my movement. Those are my only enemies. So most people don't fall into that category. Unless they make themselves fall into that category. Unless they make it on a point to make me uncomfortable or to make sure that I don't feel good. If you make sure that I don't feel good and that you don't benefit from me and that you don't support what I do with my time, then you're my enemy. Yes, we've signed that contract with each other. Next, next is, I'm just gonna end it. I'm just gonna tie these two things together. How do you spot your enemy? Your enemy, oh damn, my 5 elements of business. We're gonna go with that again. And then I'm gonna give you a little bit more, and then I'm gonna shut it down. First, we got Earth. I'm gonna go out of order this time. Earth is your energy, everything around you, your network, anything that helps you to contribute to your base, anything that helps you contribute to your, what's the word I'm looking for? Your foundation, your energy. Anybody who tries to knock that off, anybody who tries to slander you on the internet, anybody who tries to get you to break up with your girlfriend so you're distracted from life, that's your enemy. Next, your plan. Water is the plan. Anybody, just like I tell you, you're not supposed to tell people your plans and your moves because they can put their input, make you second guess yourself, make your intuition sound a little nutty when you really do need to be listening to your heart and your intuition. Anybody who tries to fuck up your plan, alter your shit, enemy, you know. Next, I mean, that person might not be the enemy, but their input is the enemy. Next is the air. Anybody, in this situation, I just put money. You know what I mean? Money talks. Money in this situation is air. You need air to communicate. Your air could be your technology, your car. Of course, you don't need motherfuckers asking you for rides, and you gotta get your oil changed, and they don't have gas money. But air, anybody who fucks with your technology and misguides you and gives you incorrect knowledge. Knowledge is also air. Knowledge, communication, and technology are air. So if they give you the wrong information, if they point you in the wrong direction on purpose or on accident, if they fuck up your communication, or if they fuck with your money, or any kind of technology or resources that you may need. And action, fire. That's what I like about fire. It's just action. It's not all these complicated things. If anybody tries to distract you physically, mentally, emotionally, and you say, "Hey, I'm going to work," and they say, "No, I gotta talk to you about something. And you say, "Hey, you know what? I like my mornings to be peaceful," and they fuck with your fire. They fuck with your action. How do you spot the enemy? You don't. You don't spot the enemy. You make the enemy come to you. Do you think that when Burger King came out after McDonald's, you think they were sitting around, McDonald's was sitting around like, I wonder who's gonna compete with me. I'm gonna go look for these. No. McDonald's was doing McDonald's already. Then what happened? Then Burger King came out, and they're called fucking Burger King, so they were like, that's the guy. That's the motherfucker I've been looking for. You know what I mean? When I do certain things and it's going right, the enemy always shows his fucking ugly face. The enemy's not gonna hide from you. You know what I mean? You got McDonald's. McDonald's came out. Burger King came out, and Popeyes came out. Let's all pretend like all three of these all three of these restaurants came out at the same time. Now, McDonald's and Burger King are both burger joints. Popeyes is a chicken place. In this situation, if somebody wants food and they want a burger, nobody's gonna give a fuck about Popeyes. Popeyes does make chicken sandwiches, but they want beef. You know what I mean? They're not trying to go for the chicken. So in that situation, there's nothing for McDonald's to worry about. They don't have to worry about Popeyes. They only have to worry about Burger King. So what I'm saying is, you have to make sure that this person is even worthy of your attention and you making these adjustments and looking for this feedback and all of this that I mentioned from you, because McDonald's doesn't need feedback from Popeyes. McDonald's doesn't need to make adjustments because of a fucking Popeyes. You know what I mean? McDonald's, they I forgot their little slogan. I'm loving it, right? Okay, so I couldn't use that cleverly. But McDonald's is not giving a fuck about what Popeye is throwing them, because Popeyes is a fucking chicken joint. They're not on the same wavelength. They're not in the same category. They're not comparable. If they don't show themselves, if you're not in the same lane, then that's not the enemy. You know what I mean? All these things, depression is my enemy. I've dealt with that since I was a young child. Negative self-talk is the enemy for me. Stagnation is definitely the enemy. Being out of shape is the enemy. See, now my concern for being like fat or some shit, I've never been fat. I don't think, I mean, I can, obviously, I'm a human being, but like that, or fucking, I don't have to worry about like having vitiligo or fucking getting shorter. I'm not fucking 50 years old, so me getting shorter is not a concern. Getting shorter is not my enemy. But you get that. Alright. So you have to make sure that your enemy is either identical to you, wavelength wise, or vibrational wise, energetically. Again, with the McDonald's and Popeye. McDonald's and Popeye compete for people who want fast food, but they're not in the same category. They're either identical to you, so we'll say Goku and Vegeta, and they have the opposite intentions for you. Now, if I am a lyrical rapper and Lil Uzi Vert wants to get everybody who bought my CD to fucking go to the club and get drunk and not even remember that they listened to my shit, that's my enemy right there. Or they have the opposite. They have identical intentions, the same agenda. Now we're talking about McDonald's and Burger King. They have the same agenda. They both have burgers. They both have blah blah, fries and shit. But they have the plan of wiping you out, or they're doing the same thing you're doing, but they're not taking you into account. So if we're both rappers and we both are trying to sell fucking gold records in December, and we're not calling each other for features and collabs and shit, we're like enemies. Like, I take it very seriously, to the point where everybody's always like, everybody says, if you're not with me, you're against me. And the older I get, the more real that becomes for me. The more real it becomes for me, because it is like that. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. That's just how business is. And I know I shouldn't operate in that way and just thinking of everything as a business endeavor, but that's really how it is. If you don't want me to do well, if you don't want to support, if you don't want to benefit from me, if you don't want me me to smile when you smile, if you only want to smile when I cry, if I only feel good when you're doing bad, not even that extreme, but if we're not even, there's no gray area. Like everybody keeps trying to play Switzerland. There's no gray area. You know what I mean? That's just not how it is. That's just not how it is. So, all you people out there that are watching me, that are subscribed to my channel, that leave me positive feedback or feedback that I can work with, and to improve my life on YouTube with, thank you. You are not the enemy and you will survive 2016. You're welcome. Anyways, it's Aaron Moses. Socialize with me. Twitter and Instagram are at DNAYES, the number 4. Facebook, Snapchat, and all of that are in the description. You already know. I'm the bang. You the bang. We the bang together, man. Let's get this money, sonny. Those who bless me will be blessed, and those who curse me will be cursed. Peace.